Hello, my name is Carlos Erban, and I'm a photographer here in the South Florida area. I haven't been a photographer for that long, just over 2 years, but I'm going to be posting several videos on different topics, and this is going to be one of the first. This is actually the first video that I'm uploading, and this is going to be on a series on Lightroom. There is going to be videos on lighting, on speed lighting, different cameras, reviews, and so on. I've been asked to do a Lightroom training, and I guess because I'm one of the newer photographers, I really started with Lightroom as opposed to Photoshop. So I've become relatively advanced in Lightroom. I don't claim to know everything, but there is some things that I think you'll find very useful. So I'm going to go really quick. I don't want to talk much about myself. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is, let's go to the settings. Okay, so when you go to edit, you go to preferences. And again, these are the settings that I like to use. Not necessarily saying that this is the right setting. Anything that I do, I don't claim to be the right way or the best way. It's just the way that I do it and have made my life easier. I think I've learned Lightroom, through a lot of trial and error, because like all of us, Lightroom can be very useful when you know how to use it, and it can be sometimes painful when you don't know what's going on, and especially in organizing your picture and so on. Okay, so let's start with the general settings. English, I don't think I did much here. In the default, when starting, use the most recent catalog. Obviously you don't want to use a catalog from 5 years ago. I don't think I've done, oh, this is important. Treat JPEG files next to RAW files as separate photos. One time I was taking a workshop a long time ago, actually a year ago, and one of the things that happened is I usually shoot RAW, but in that particular workshop we had to shoot JPEG. So what I did is I decided to shoot RAW plus JPEG, and when I imported the pictures I couldn't find the JPEGs, and what happens is they were one on top of the other, and nobody in the workshop, even the professor, had any idea how to separate them. I figured out later, actually during the workshop, thank God, because otherwise I could have turned in my photos, that this check mark was not in the default. So you want to have your JPEG files next to your RAW files, because they're really two different pictures. Obviously your RAW file hasn't been processed and your JPEG has been processed by your camera, so you want to see them next to each other and not some hybrid type of thing. The other thing I'd like to do here is, importing my pictures sometimes can take a long time, because I have the 800, and my shoots usually 500, 1000 pictures at a time, so it can take sometimes an hour to import all of the pictures. So I want to get a sound when it finishes, because I'm never in front of my computer when it's doing all the import of the pictures. And when I'm exporting, I also want to get a sound that tells me that it finished exporting the picture. So that's that. Catalog settings, let's do that at the end. Presets, I don't think I touched this. I mean, there's a check mark here. Apply auto mix when first converting to black and white. I think that's just a default. Black and white is one of the few things where I do use a plugin. I use Silver Effects. I don't use Lightroom. But anyway, external editing. Okay, this one, I don't remember if the default was TIFF. Originally I had it in TIFF. By the way, this is when you're editing to Photoshop, right? So you want to keep it in PSD, because what I heard is that it slows down your computer quite a bit when you have it in TIFF. Okay, it says PSD can be less efficient, but the fact of the matter is it's the other way around. TIFF is for some reason slower. So anyway, I changed it to PSD. I don't think I changed anything else here. Maybe the resolution to 300. That's it. Make sure you don't have stacked with original. So what this means is, when you export or edit in Photoshop your raw file, so you have your, let's say it's Nikon.nf, what is it, NEF, and for Canon, I don't remember what it is for Canon, but anyway, you want to, when you export it to Photoshop, it's automatically going to convert it to a PSD file, which is what Photoshop uses. When it comes back to Lightroom, then you want to make sure that it's not stacked with the original, because if it's stacked with the original, you have a stack of a bunch of pictures with different formats. I like to have them next to each other. I want to be able to see my raw file. If I have a JPEG, which I often don't, I want to have the JPEG, and if I did changes in Photoshop and it's a PSD, I want to have a PSD. So I like to have, be able to see each of the different pictures. Template, I don't think I changed anything here. This is just when it comes back in Photoshop, you want it to be named the same way. I mean, if these pictures, well, this one says test, let's say it's called test, you want it to come back as test.psd. Oh, by the way, it's a JPEG because obviously it was a point and shoot. Well, my point and shoot does raw, but anyway. File handling, nothing here. Interface, no, I'm pretty sure I didn't touch anything. So let's go back to general. Here, catalog settings. Okay, in catalog settings, you don't want to make a lot of changes, but one of the things about the catalog is that my main catalog is in the C drive. As you can see, this is where it resides. If I click show, it goes to my Windows Explorer and it shows where it is. It's in my C drive. So that's where I have all my catalogs. Oh, this setting is the one that I was talking about before, the backup catalog. So every time Lightroom exits, you want it to ask you if you want to back up your catalog. I like to do that. I think the default is never, or maybe once a month. I like it to ask me, and I'm actually going to close this catalog and go to my other one, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. File handling, no, I didn't touch any of this, pretty sure. Metadata, I'm pretty sure I didn't touch any of this. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, so we're done here. Okay, one of the things that is important, so we review the preferences, catalog settings with it. This is just identity plate setup. The plate is this. I don't touch that. It doesn't bother me that it says Lightroom. Edit watermarks is a whole separate topic, so I'm going to do that in another video, because this is an important topic. I just want to show you real quick that when you do, I have two monitors, so let me bring this here. So you have your different, you have your different watermarks, and you can do all sorts of changes to it here. You can, but this is just a separate topic. This is going to take at least 15 minutes, so I'm not going to spend any time on this right now. But anyway, just wanted to see what it was. Okay, let's talk very quick about these things here on the left hand side. So the Navigator, what is the Navigator useful for? Well, if you're doing one-to-one, right? So here, oh, well, you probably don't want to see me one-to-one, but let's say, I don't know, I'm editing this thing here, and if I don't have the Navigator, I don't know where I am. I have to go back and forth here. With the Navigator, if I want to go here or here or here, then it becomes very quickly, or if I move here, then you know where you are. So that's useful when you're doing one-to-one. Here you can go 50%, or you can go whatever you want. You can go 200% for that matter, but I usually don't do much with this. I usually just use this one and the one-to-one. Okay, so we're done with the Navigator. Catalog, because this is a new catalog, then there isn't much here. It just has 654 pictures from one shoot that I did at the studio, and then this one that I did as a test, and that's why I put it here. Now, something that is very important that I want to talk about in the settings and there's going to be a whole video on how to move files, what to do with your old pictures, new pictures, the ones that are not in Lightroom. For me, I like to have everything in the Lightroom catalogs. So the important thing that I want to talk about now, and I'll probably talk about it several times in different videos, is whenever you want to move pictures from one place to another. So here I have 431 gigs left on my C drive, which is where I have my 2013 pictures. So these are the pictures, okay? And by the way, you see how it shows exactly where it is. You know, these are my pictures. But then once I'm done with 2013, or if I start running out of space on my C drive, you want to move them to your M drive. And the way you do that is you click here and you just drag it down here, right? Move, yes. Okay, it was very quick because it's only one picture, it's on JPEG, so it's usually not that quick. But here's where you want to move it. I'm going to move it back because I'm not ready to start moving. But anyway, this is important. The other thing, collections is a whole different topic that we'll talk in another video, because this is very useful once you start doing your editing, you know, the 5 stars. Then actually I have to create one here for the pics. We'll talk about the pics in a second. Publish service, this is also very useful. So if you have Facebook, you know, you can, so this is a picture that so this is the same picture. So let me just show you real quick. So okay, so how do I put my pictures in Facebook from Lightroom? And by the way, it's not the ideal way, but you can do it this way. So you go here, I right click, edit settings. If you haven't set up your Facebook public service yet, what you do is you fill out the description. Here I ask you to authorize it. I think the only thing I did that I changed here, I might have changed the long edge to 1000 pixels. Sharpen for screen. Oh, this I definitely changed. So I wanted to have copyright and contact information, and then my watermark, because when it goes to Facebook, I wanted to have my watermark. Okay, so this is Facebook. You have the same thing for Flickr, SmugMug. Okay, I haven't done it for Flickr this year yet. And then SmugMug, which is where my website is. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, we have basically 2 minutes left. The only thing I want to show you, a couple of things from here. You have your filters, right? So right now the filters are off. Let's do rating. I usually I like to use a rating system. So right now it has no rating. If I do these are the ones that have a 1, okay, 2, okay, 3. Okay, so I don't have any for 3 because I wasn't really happy with most of my pictures in this shoot. But anyway, you have here based on rating. You can do it based on camera info. So this is my D800. This is the lens that I use. Did the flash fire or not fire? Okay. So that's one way. The other thing you can do is you can do it by text. So if I go to text, okay, I'm gonna click text here. I went filters. It had too many. It had filters one on top of another. I didn't want to make it confusing, so I put here the TIFF. I don't have any TIFF pic. Oh, there is a TIFF picture. Okay, so that's one that I did in Photoshop, and that's basically it. We have a minute left. Here in this area, I don't really do much here. The only thing is you have your keywords. So let's say I want to change the keywords for these 2 pictures. I click this one, I control click this one, and let's say I want to add to this, I don't know, studio, right? So I click enter, and now these have studio. Okay. What else? Let's see. Important here is the copyright information. You want to make sure that it's here. If you have well, I did show you how to set it up. Edit presets, right? And you put here all your information. No, I don't want to change as a new preset because I already have a preset. And you want to make sure this appears here. So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you look at the other videos.